The entire world knows about the lavish and playboy lifestyle of Saddam Hussein, an Iraqi politician who served as the 5th president of Iraq from July 16, 1979 until April 9, 2003. But what if we tell you that Saddam wasn't the only family member who had such a luxurious and playboy life? His sons Qusay and Uday Hussein also spent a lavish life more attractive than the British royal family. Join us today as we dive into the playboy, murderer, and sadist life of Uday Hussein. Overview. In a film named Devil's Double, which hit the theaters in 2011, to portray the life and times of Saddam Hussein's debauched son Uday, he was found very cruel. The movie depicts how he used to torture people and engage in curb driving in his unquenchable lust for girls, and how the sadist occasionally cried like a child. Born in Baghdad, Uday was the eldest child of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein and his cousin as well as his first wife, Sajida Talfa. Over many years, Uday was seen as the likely potential successor to his father. Still, he lost the position due to injuries sustained in an assassination attempt on his younger brother, Qusay Hussein. Then, following the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, he was killed alongside Qusay and his nephew Mustafa by an American task force in Mosul after a lengthy gunfight. Uday was ruthless and intimidating to both perceived adversaries and close friends. His cruelty and violence were frequently directed at family members and personal companions. According to witness accounts, he was responsible for rape, murder, and torture, including the arrest and torture of Iraqi Olympic athletes and the national football team members whenever they lost a game. But before we get into the ruthless era of Uday, let's look at his early lifestyle and journey that made him such a brutal guy for his people. Early life. After schooling, Uday Hussein began his studies at Baghdad Medical College, where he stayed for 3 days. He then transferred to the College of Engineering, where he earned a Bachelor of Engineering degree from the University of Baghdad. His master's thesis was titled Iraqi Military Strategy During the 8-Year Iran-Iraq War. In 1998, he received a doctorate in political science from the University of Baghdad with the title The World After the Cold War, in which he predicted that the United States would no longer be a world power by 2015. According to many historian analysts, Uday lacked academic abilities, and that his research papers were written by others in exchange for cash and gifts, and that no one could give Uday a low grade out of fear. He was really smart, probably smarter than his father, but he was insane. Saddam Hussein's son ran his own shadowy empire in Iraq, controlling the lucrative underworld smuggling networks that thrived during the years of UN sanctions. His vast wealth enabled him to purchase hundreds of cars, which he kept in underground garages all over Baghdad before torching them once the US invaded, so no one else could own them. Uday hired someone to scour the internet for photos of new or collectible cars, then compiled them in a ring binder. He also had his own fishermen and 2 lion tamers. Uday's role in the Iraqi Olympic Committee. In Saddam's reign, Uday was selected as chairman of the Iraqi Olympic Committee and the Iraqi Football Association in 1984. In his previous role, he tortured athletes who did not win. According to Latif Yahya, who claims to have been Uday's body double, sadistic is the word that best describes him. Saddam Hussein, in my opinion, was more human than Uday. The Olympic Committee was more than just a sports venue. It was Uday's world. During training, Uday would watch all the athletes closely, put pressure on the coaches to push the athletes even more. Raid Ahmed, one of the Iraqi athletes who escaped, said, if he was dissatisfied with the results, he threatened to imprison coaches and athletes in his private prison in the Olympic Committee building. Uday's secret prison, where people were tortured, was the punishment. When Uday took over the committee, some athletes, including the best, began to leave the sport. Then, while questioning Raid's family in 2005, an interrogation video of Uday was revealed. The killing of HANA GEGEO. Even by Saddam Hussein's standards, he was a monster, a sadist with a taste for cruelty so extreme that his father was prepared to acknowledge that his firstborn son would not be a worthy heir. Uday brutally killed his father's personal valet and food taster, HANA GEGEO, in October 1988, possibly at the request of his mother, at a party honoring Suzanne Mubarak, wife of Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak. An inebriated Uday bludgeoned GEGEO and repeatedly stabbed him with an electric carving knife in front of horrified guests. Saddam had recently met a younger woman, Samira Shabandar, who had become Saddam's second wife in 1986, thanks to GEGEO's introduction. Uday saw his father's relationship with Shabandar as an affront to his mother. Because of Uday's harassment after the marriage, Shabandar's oldest son fled to Jordan. Saddam briefly put Uday in jail as punishment for the murder. After his release, Uday was assigned to work as an assistant to the Iraqi ambassador in Switzerland. He was expelled by the Swiss government in 1990, after being arrested several times for fighting. According to the Jalopnik website, Uday's father burned down his vast car collection following the KAMEL HANA GEGEO incident. Uday struck KAMEL in the head with his walking stick during the discussion, killing him. Uday attempted suicide because he feared his father's reaction and was taken to the hospital. He escaped from the hospital, erected a barricade around his house, and opened fire on anyone attempting to enter. He agreed to surrender after being persuaded by his brother Qusay. The assassination plots. On December 12, 1996, Uday was in his Porsche when he was the victim of an assassination attempt. Uday was initially thought to be paralyzed after being hit by between 7 and 17 bullets while driving in El Mansour, Baghdad. He was airlifted to Ibn Sina Hospital and eventually recovered, albeit with a noticeable limp. Despite multiple operations, 2 bullets remained lodged in his spine and could not be removed due to their location. Saddam gave Qusay increasing responsibility and authority in the aftermath of Uday's subsequent disabilities, designating him as heir apparent in 2000. Abbas al-Janabi, on the other hand, claimed that Uday's exclusion from the family ended after he shot his step-uncle Watban after this assassination. Larry Garrett, a Chicago-based hypnotist, visited Baghdad twice in April and September 2001, using hypnosis to treat Uday's inability to walk with his left leg and spending more than 60 hours with Uday. He wrote a book about his experiences with Uday in Iraq, initially titled Healing the Enemy: Hypnotic Nights in Baghdad, but later renamed Hypnotizing the Devil: The True Story of a Hypnotist Who Handled Saddam Hussein's Psychotic Son. On the September 11th attacks, he met with Uday, who expressed grave concern for Garrett's safety and informed him that Iraq would almost certainly be blamed for the attack. Al-Bashir stated that Uday suffered brain damage due to low blood pressure following the assassination attempt, but doctors were unable to report this to Saddam. According to Bashir, Ali al-Sahar, the brother of singer Kadim al-Sahar, was with Uday on the day of the encounter, and an attempt was made on Uday's life when Ali got out of the car to give Uday's phone number to some girls that Uday fancied. Ali took Uday to the hospital right away. The attack was unusual. He said it could occur at any moment because we are surrounded by hostile countries, one of which is Iran. Iran has been implicated in such incidents for a long time. Such incidents happen throughout the region, not just in Iraq. He warned that Iran's power is growing and that it is not for the benefit of the United States to incite hostility and hatred in the region. Uday's playboy behavior with girls. In 2000, 2 French university graduates stated that they were invited to a party in Baghdad by Uday. As soon as they entered the room, they were forced into prostitution with each other at gunpoint, while it was being recorded on camera. In 1999, a group of French volunteers went to Iraq to protest the embargo, and a girl was forced to stay with Uday after the party, but they were able to leave when one of the girls said, "We did not come here to be prostitutes." Alexandra Vodyanikova, Miss Germany, met Uday and described him as charming, downright warm, very friendly. Kept saying to her, "You are hot, you are sexy, and you're beautiful." Partying and luxury. Uday was well known for forcing his guests to consume copious alcohol at his parties. According to a friend, whoever earned Uday's friendship had to drink the Uday Saddam Hussein, a cocktail made of whiskey, brandy, vodka, cognac, and beer. The cocktail was served in a large cup of friendship, and the new friend was required to drink the entire thing. In addition, Uday had employees whose job was to force people, particularly singers, to drink cocktails containing 90% alcohol and sometimes drugs. The guard would line everyone up against the wall and give them 10 minutes to drink. Those who refused to drink despite the threats were punished in one of 3 ways. Their hair and eyebrows were shaved. They were beaten without touching their faces until they couldn't stand up. In addition, tortures were frequently carried out in front of Uday's eyes. If the bodyguards did not do this, or if they were asked to correctly identify who was drinking and who was not, they would face the same punishment. The bodyguards claimed that they tortured people in this manner twice a week, and that they tortured at least 100 people per year. No one could stop Uday when he wanted a car, one of his employees said. His employees claimed that they were tortured as well, either by Uday or on his orders. According to a source, he killed his friend after forcing him to drink large amounts of alcohol, and this is not the first time Uday has killed those close to him in this manner. Death. On the 22nd of July 2003, Qusay and Uday Hussein were killed after a 3-hour firefight with U.S. forces in the northern Iraqi city of Mosul. It is generally believed that the two men were even more ruthless than their notorious father, and their death was celebrated among many Iraqis. Uday and Qusay were 39 and 37 years old respectively when they died. Both were said to have amassed considerable fortunes by participating in illegal oil smuggling. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.